There's more than one Illuminati. There's like several groups that went by this name, but they all had the same premise. It's basically this: you communicate directly with God. That is your religion. You communicate directly with God. You do not. That's what, and that's the definition of it to this day. If you look up the word Illuminism to this day, that is the definition. That is the core of the religion. Is that you believe in God, but you believe that you communicate directly with God. You don't need a book, you don't need a preacher, you don't need the church, and that's what made him so threatening. Is because it was taking away, it was removing that blocker, that middleman between people and God. It was taking the church's power away. So they had to demonize it, literally demonize it, saying they were worshiping demons. They were saying that they were literally demonic. But this is propaganda. If you're an Illuminist, just because you communicate directly with God, that has no connection to Satan. That was the church's way of making you afraid of it, so that you would not want to become an Illuminati yourself. They want to keep you dependent on them. They want to retain their power and authority. If you go by the definition, or the modern image of the Illuminati was being these evil people that run the world, then the church is the Illuminati. And that's what I tell people all the time. The church is the Illuminati. You're thinking that you're always coming at the Illuminati from a biblical perspective, when the people who you're getting it from, or the people who are giving you this, are the Illuminati. The church, being the Illuminati, they are the priests. They are the ones who supposedly communicate with the gods. They're the ones that have the power. The Catholic Church constructed the Bible. They decided what books went into it. They decided what verses were going to go into it. They decided what the verses were going to say. They are the ones who created it. The United States is supposed to be the most powerful country in the world, or is the most powerful country in the world. And Barack Obama is the leader of this country. So theoretically, Barack Obama should be the most powerful man in the world. But if you're watching this video, odds are you know that's not true. Who do you think has more power between, say, the president or the Pope? Do you think that Barack Obama could compare with the Pope or some other religious leader? A person will only listen to Barack Obama to a certain extent, and a lot of times people will even mock him and attack him. But the Pope can wave his hand and tell millions of people to do the most absurd and ridiculous shit, and they'll bow their head and do it, because they think he is the mouthpiece of God. They think he represents God. And that goes with any religious leader. Your pastor in church, or if you're one of these cults that's floating around YouTube, your preacher on the street corner yelling out his whatever he's yelling out. These people have power, and to keep that power, they want to scare you into thinking that they're the answer, or that their religion is the answer. The Bible teaches you that Jesus, a character that they created, is going to come back and save you from the damage that they're doing to you. It's nothing but a scam. It's the church, the Illuminati in the Bible are like, when you surfing the internet and you on the web and you get like a pop-up ad and it says that your computer has been infected by viruses and you need to download this virus cleaner to get it off. And when you download it, you're actually downloading the virus itself. That's how they enter into your system, by tricking you into downloading it. That's what the Bible is. They are giving you the Bible and saying you need this, you need to follow this to stop this from happening. But the people who are making that happen are the same people who wrote the Bible and created it. They're giving it to you because they know that you can't hurt them with it. And when you put your faith in them, it stops you from actually doing something that can stop the Illuminati. That's why they have to keep this religious propaganda so strong. And you can always tell, this is the thing, when everything you read about the Illuminati, like 80% of what you read about the Illuminati is religious propaganda. Now you might say, well, I'm not a Christian, I know better, so I don't have to worry about that. Well, even if you're not a Christian, odds are your information that you're getting is from a Christian source, and it's going to be slanted and it's skewed and inaccurate. It's going to be colored. It's going to fit that Christian agenda. But you can usually tell when you're seeing this propaganda, because they'll say things like I'm gonna give you a keyword. When you see the word Babylon in something dealing with the Illuminati, when you see Babylon, that generally means, if not always, it means that everything you're about to read is coming from some kind of propagandist work from somebody else, some Christian fundamentalist or something like that. And you can tell that because they'll say something like the Illuminati, these practices of the Illuminati go back to the mystery schools of Egypt and Babylon. Or they'll say something like all these pagan religions, all the worship of these idols or gods or whatever comes from Babylon. Everything pagan comes from Babylon. That's the popular thing they're saying, that everything stems from Babylon. Now, it would not even be chronologically possible for everything to stem from Babylon, because Egypt is much, much, much older than Babylon. But since Babylon is the oldest, that's the oldest place in the region that is recorded in the Bible. That's what they say. They're actually, when they say Babylon, they actually mean Sumer, and they're talking about the Sumerians. Now, I'm not saying that the Sumerians are older than Egypt either, but I'm saying that the Sumerians, when you're dealing with these biblical stories, the time frames that the Bible gives in this area of the world, in Mesopotamia and the Middle East, you would not have been dealing with Babylon. When they talk about people like Nimrod, Babylon would not have existed in these time frames. The people in that area would have been the Sumerians. But they don't know that. The people who are writing the Bible, they are writing it from Babylon. They are writing it during Babylonian times. And they either are unaware of Sumer, or who inhabited that region before the Babylonians, or they're doing like they usually do and making something up. But the point of the matter is, the Babylonians and the Sumerians are not interchangeable. They're completely different people. The Sumerians were apparently a black race that spoke an unrelated language to the area, and they called themselves the black-headed people. Apparently to distinguish themselves from the rest of the people in that region. When you research Sumer, most of the time they'll say something like, the race of the Sumerians is unknown. We have not been able to establish their race. And if you know about Egypt and the cover-ups they use on Egypt to try to make it a non-black or sometimes even a white nation, you see that things like we don't know what race they were is code to saying that, well, they're black, but we don't want to give credit to black people for a civilization this prominent and this influential and this groundbreaking. So we'll say we don't know what race they are, or they'll make up some weird race like a red race that does not even exist. So I saw a report. There was a doctor who had done a skeletal examination of some of the ancient Sumerians, and she found that they were, racially speaking, they were the same as the black Aborigines of Australia. I don't know. I don't think that report is going to be too popular. And it's funny, I haven't been able to find that report, but one time I haven't been able to find it since. But yeah, but that's kind of a different subject. But I'm saying that to say that they're different from the Babylonians. The Babylonians were a Semitic people. They were not the same. They came in like 2 or 3 civilizations after the Sumerians, and they were a Semitic people. And Babylon was a cosmopolitan city, so they were a mixed population. They were a mixed Semitic population. They were not the same as the Sumerians, and they can't be spoken of interchangeably with the Sumerians. So when you see Babylon, that means they're giving you some propaganda, and they're fitting everything in just some religious framework that doesn't even match up with history. You know what I'm saying? So to keep everything, the whole goal is to keep everything biblical. That's why I get suspicious when I see certain people, when I see something like these people that should know better. You had like Alex Jones, who's this guy who's supposedly hounding the Illuminati and following them around and studying them and doing whatever he does every day, but yet he's always talking about, I don't watch him that often, but when I do watch him, he's always talking about the Bible. He's coming to everything from some kind of biblical direction, and he should know, if he's following the Illuminati, he should know that the Bible is an Illuminati tool. So it makes me wonder when I see things he's doing. Like I saw the video where he goes and he invades the Bohemian Grove. So he supposedly sneaks into the Bohemian Grove unnoticed, this hotbed of Illuminati activity. He sneaks in there unnoticed, and he films a sacrifice, because they're supposedly sacrificing, or mock sacrificing, or pretending to be a mock sacrifice, but actually a real sacrifice of children to the god Moloch. And they show this big statue of an owl in the Bohemian Grove. They're saying this is Moloch, and they show you the logo. The Bohemian Grove logo is an owl. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is all kind of funny. Well, it's funny that he's able to successfully pull this off and get camera footage. I thought that was kind of strange. And then there's not much known about Moloch that I can tell, except for that they sacrificed their children to him. And coming from the Bible, I'm actually going to assume that considering the source, that's not true. That's probably yet more demonization by the Hebrews, like they demonized everybody that was around them. These are the same people that said the Egyptians were evil slave masters that were killing their children and making them build bricks and all this fake shit. So I don't really know whether he sacrificed children or not, but I don't know of any connection between Moloch and an owl. So it's kind of struck me as odd that a bunch of old white men would be worshiping an obscure Canaanite god like Moloch. So I was thinking to myself, what other gods are associated? What gods are actually associated with owls? And first thing that comes to mind is the goddess Athena. So she's a Greek goddess. So to me, that would make more sense. I wonder if the Bohemian Grove owl is actually to Athena rather than Moloch. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't. Now, I can't say for 100% certainty that the owl is not associated with Moloch, but I can just say that I've never heard of it. So it strikes me as funny. It seems like it kind of seems like it's Alex Jones just taking something and then twisting it to make it fit into a biblical framework where it doesn't belong. Now, I'm not saying that Alex Jones is an agent for the Illuminati. I don't know whether he is or he isn't, but I do know it's one of their tactics to try to frame everything within the context of their little religious fantasy world they created, so that you won't think beyond that.